In today's video, Miriam and I head over to our local outdoor outfitter to check on some camping gear. I field test a new tent, then take the Spyder down to Back Bay to shoot some B-roll with the drone, before it decides to lose its little artificial intelligence mind, almost ending in disaster. Hello guys, we are together again. See, Miriam is still alive. I untied her and let her out of the closet. Say hi, Miriam. Tell them everything is okay. We are heading back to REI. And why are we going to REI? Well, Miriam, why don't you tell us why we're going back to REI?
We're going to pick up your birthday gift. That was...
Oh, yeah, but there was some other reasons too. Well, wait for it. I think Miriam has decided to come over to the dark side and is open to the possibility of Spyder camping.
So why is that the dark side?
Why is that the dark side? Because you've been resistant for so long.
I haven't been resistant. You lie.
I don't want to sleep on the ground. Well, we're going to be off the ground. A few inches, but we're going to be off the ground. We're doing some research on the possibility for a big trip next year that will make the asphalt odyssey I took last year look like a trip around the park.
It was 2 years ago.
2 years ago. So we're gonna just kind of look at some gear, start getting some ideas together, and just do a feasibility study. Because we like the idea of, you know, there are some just gorgeous places that I would like to wake up in the morning and just be at.
Yeah.
Have a cup of coffee, and the sterile, generic hotel room, well, yeah, they're climate controlled and they're dry, but they're expensive. And we can, longer duration, with less money. It was like a friend of mine always said, you can always afford to go first class. You just can't stay as long. So we're gonna go down here and just kind of eyeball some gear.
All the petite sizes except for the one that I wear.
That's because it's very popular and everybody's bought them. Well, this is the first setup of the new tent we're trying out. It's a Coleman brand. The reason we picked Coleman, they're built pretty tough. They're not lightweight. They're not probably the best in the world for backpacking, but for car camping, they're really good. The construction is good. They got a good reputation, and the floor is actually a much thicker material, much like your typical tarps you would buy at a hardware store. That's the floor, commonly referred to as a tub bottom. So it's pretty resilient, not likely to get torn, not likely to get moisture up to the bottom of the floor. So you don't necessarily need a ground cloth underneath the tent. So that's one of the reasons we got it. Now this one is a 6-person tent. We have no intentions of putting 6 people in this tent, but what we wanted was a tent that will serve us in the event we're stuck somewhere for a day or two because of adverse weather, rain. We can go inside. We got a screened-in porch to keep the bugs away, and we can even, if we wanted to, not that I really want to, but we can do some light cooking in here, boiling water for freeze-dried meals, coffee, things like that. Also, we could put the chairs in here and keep the bugs out if it's a buggy afternoon. or something of that nature. Also, it's tall enough. Fortunately, I am not the tallest guy in the world. It's about 5'8" from the floor to the top of the ceiling in the center, so I can stand up in it. The reason we picked that is we can get in there and get dressed easily if we're in a place where there's not that much privacy that allow us to get ready for our rides, get ready for bedtime, that sort of thing. It also gives us plenty of floor space, so we can bring the chairs inside if we want to, the table. I can bring my laptop in there. Miriam will have her chair also, and our little sleeping area. So it's you know, I would take you inside the tent, but the ground we're sitting on right now is not the most flat in the world. There's a lot of tall grass under, so the floor doesn't look that that level. And this is the only place we could actually set the tent up to give it a good test. So took me a little time to get used to it. It's a typical dome tent. Once you're familiar with the dome tent layout, setting it up the second time should be much simpler than it was the first time. It just took me a while because it didn't come with any instructions, and plus it just takes a little bit of time to get used to setting up a tent for the first time. One of my personal peeves in life are people who go into the field and take gear they've never opened until they get into the field, and they're fumbling with it trying to figure out how it works. And that'd be a heck of a time to realize that you forgot a key component, or the system or the equipment doesn't actually work. So I'm a big believer in getting my gear set up, and when Miriam gets home from work this evening, I'm going to show it to her and get some feedback from her, and then we're going to take it down. Well, we're on our way down to Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge. Shoot some B-roll today with the drone. Got to get off from under the airspace from Oceana Naval Air Station, which is that in Dam Neck and Norfolk International Airport. It tends to tie up a lot of the airspace in Virginia Beach. But you know, let's come down here, and we have the National Wildlife Refuge. But you know, there are workarounds. You look at the maps and figure out exactly where can I shoot and not be in the refuge and not be in airspace. And a little tricky. But I think we found the spot, and we're going to give it a shot today. It's a good day for it. Temperatures in the low 60s. Not as warm as it was yesterday, but still not bad. It's going to be nice tomorrow. Oh, got some road construction. Why not? We've had all kinds of other things going on today. Looks like they got us rerouted. I have to remember this. Don't get to come down this road that often. Yeah, speed limit's a bit lower, a little more congestion. It's not the thoroughfare. It's the side road. So we got the test of the tent, the first field test complete, the setup and takedown. Pretty straightforward, nothing surprising once you get once you see what the pattern is to get the tent set up. The first time I set it up, it took me 45 minutes, and it really should took me about 15 or 20. That's because I didn't know how the shortcuts, but now I got them. So the whole reason we're even considering doing the moto camping is that with Miriam's anticipated retirement date being moved up considerably, we haven't officially locked that in, but it's looking like it may happen in 2021. We know that we will not be in position to travel and get the RV earlier, because we had planned out for this, and we still need to be able to make sure we can provide the basics, you know, food, clothing, shelter, health care, that sort of thing in our retirement. So we've got that covered. Now just to make sure we've got the transportation, the leisure transportation sorted. So we're expecting for the first a year or two to primary mode of transportation will be Spyder, and to cut that cost down quite a bit, we hope to mix in the moto camping with it. We'll see how that works. It's been quite a few years. I used to be quite the avid camper. I've slept in tents backpacked, sleeping in tents, slept in car camped, slept under the wing of my airplane quite a few nights. So I'm used to that, but it's been a while, so it's going to take a while to get back in the groove. And I find the saying, the ground just seems to be a bit harder nowadays than it was when I was younger. So we're going to try to get some gear to soften the ground, as it were. You know, that way, if we do that, if we're looking at a campground without electricity or water, we're probably looking $20, $25 a night in a campground, and possibly even free if we're wild camping or in national forest, that sort of thing. And then the only cost is gasoline. Figure our average ride runs about $25 a day in gas. You know, from for a comfortable hotel room, we're probably looking at least $100 a night, up to $150 a night, versus 0 to 20. That definitely extends out how far we can actually go as far as time duration, and distance. Food, I don't really factor in food, because if we're camping or even just traveling, we could probably eat on the road with food we brought with us in a cooler and cook along the road. We gotta eat anyway, so just simply adapt it to being able to travel. And in the back burner, we're still talking RV. What kind of RV? I don't know. Either be a Class A, Class C, or even a Class B. And the Class B, of course, is the van conversion. You can either buy one that's pre-configured, or we just buy an empty van and configure it ourselves. The creative side of me and the handyman side of me says, just to get a nice, good size van with a higher ceiling that I can stand up in. Miriam and I are not the tallest people in the world, so we, according to the specs, the Ford Transit van with the medium-sized roof, we should be able to stand up in, even once we add the insulation in the ceiling. And the cost would be considerably less. I need to do some more number crunching just see which way we want to go. With our zoning regulations in our city, I can park a transit van in front of our house or in our driveway, but I cannot park an RV in front of our house or in our driveway. They sort of frown on that. Well, the B-roll shoot did not go as planned. Almost ended in possible catastrophe. The shot was supposed to be the drone in the stationary position with me driving around in relation to the drone. That way I didn't have to maneuver the drone while driving. And did a U-turn, came back, and the drone was gone. So, fortunately the phone gives me a screenshot of what the drone is seeing. And so I looked at it and I went, oh, it's right over top of me. Well, let me just bring it on down a little bit so I can kind of get myself oriented. And when I did that, I realized I'm in the power lines. That's on the east side of the road. So I was like, ooh, this is not good. One clip of the power line and my drone's toast. But it managed to get on down and land it safely without any real problems. But, of course, then I had a high wind warning. The wind just above tree line was a little higher than I had liked. But I got a couple of shots. Flying a drone is it's a lot of work. We stopped in the back bay down here to use the facilities real quickly. Head on back to the barn because it's coming up on 4 o'clock and rush hour traffic's going to start setting in soon.